You can imagine how that goes.
Got a squall right in front of us.
I got this. It just is what it is.
Some say I'm living in the moment. I say motion, I ain't got no potion, but we can touch the sky.
I'm Carlie, and this is Brady. In early 2020, we sold our house and most of our possessions and took our first big leap into living our vagabond dreams. We recently hiked 800 miles of the Appalachian Trail, and now we are purchasing a sailboat to start sailing around the world, all while capturing a creative journal of the journey. We hope to inspire you to live your own dreams. Subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Good morning, friends. It is very calm, very still, and May 14th. And we're just sitting here attempting to leave. We are at Rudder Cut Cay, and we pulled up anchor, started our venture out of here, and then everybody's pulling out of here today because it's dead calm. Good day to venture down to Georgetown on the outside, because you got to go on the outside. And we are having engine problems. We're not spitting enough water, and it sounds funny. We're a little bit worried that our water pump has officially crapped out on us. And yeah, everybody is out of here today, and we're working on it. Brady is down there working on it, working his butt off, which is why I'm filming. He doesn't like to film when things are difficult, because it's kind of hard to pick up the camera when you're frustrated and, yeah, mainly just frustrated. So I'm doing that to share all of it. We got to get to Georgetown. My mom is flying in on Monday. There's a blow coming as well this weekend. That's what's going on. I'm sitting out here making sure we're not dragging, because we're kind of in the channel, kind of right near where the underwater statue is that we visited yesterday. I believe it's called the Musician. Our friends were telling us that it was commissioned by David Copperfield. They told us yesterday, which is cool. And then there's another little fishing / dive hotspot right up here as well. Just kind of pulled off to the side.
This water pump works. I'm going to use this water pump
Okay.
as a seawater pump.
Okay. Yeah, our engine water pump we know was going bad. We have a new one coming with my mom Monday. However, there are several spare water pumps that are just like on the boat. Only one is installed.
Like freshwater pumps.
Freshwater pumps. Sorry, freshwater pumps. Now I've changed water pump tactics. Freshwater pumps. We have one that's attached to our sink, and also our washdown hose right there. And then there is one that used to be a seawater washdown in the bow of the boat for an anchor or forward washdown, I guess. And then there is one that used to go to a drinking water only spigot that had like a filter on it, inline filter. It was disassembled when we bought the boat, but there was one there as well. So I believe Brady has pulled the one from the bow of the boat. No. The one from the drinking water?
Yep.
He's going to rig up using that as our water pump for our engine. So the problems continue. We were able to rig up our freshwater pump to work as a saltwater pump for our engine. Tested it without starting the engine. Shut it off. Wouldn't start the engine, and no go. We've got not very good service, but we were able to FaceTime with our friends, DJ and Katie from Venture Wild. They're Asian people. Kind of chat through it, and then took a bunch of pictures, sent them a bunch of pictures, and they're trying to help us troubleshoot. We have been trying to get anybody on the radio that can hear us. We've had no responses at all. Brady is testing all the things our friends are saying to test. As you can see, the scenery has changed. We are floating around in the Exumas Sound at the moment. I don't exactly remember where I left off. We tried the SureFlow pump. It ended up flooding our engine because we ran it without the engine on, but also it was going to be too powerful for the engine, even if the engine had been on. We waved down a tender going by. They came over and Brady was like, "Hey, do any of you have diesel engine experience? Like, we really need some help." And they laughed. And the gentleman, there's two gentlemen on board. The senior gentleman on board that tender was like, "Oh yeah, what's the deal?" So Brady explained it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so you've like flooded your engine," and yeah. He knew exactly what we're talking about. And so he's like, "Okay, you've got to move the injectors and you got to bleed the engine and all this." And Brady's like, "Okay, how do I do that?" So he kind of started talking through it, and his wife's like, "He's starving. Like, let him get lunch, and then I'll send him back over." So he came back. Lovely man, Alan.
New Zealand.
From New Zealand, which was awesome. Do you remember his wife's name?
Laura?
Laura. Yeah, Laura. He came back over. Brady had the injectors removed. When he got here, they bled the water out of the cylinders. We got it running again. He's like, "All right, make it for, like, it's running. Book it to Georgetown." We get out of the cut, and then a overheating alarm goes off. So, full sails. Yeah. Got full sails up. Earlier, it was 6 knots of wind, full sails. We were doing like 2.83 knots. Now we've got 2 knots of wind.
2.7.
Sorry, 2.7 knots of wind.
We're going 1 knot.
And we're moving 1 knot.
In the wrong direction.
Yeah, we had to tack. So we're going the wrong direction. We're about to be aimlessly floating, which I kind of feel like we're already starting to. Thank goodness it's calm. But we're both fried. Mentally fried, not like, "Oh, I got sunburnt." No.
I'm still not opposed to rehooking up that SureFlow pump, but like cutting the valve, the intake valve, and just like barely opening it.
Oh, like...
So it can't pump that much water.
So the intake valve's only partially opened. Are we going to screw up our intake valve doing that?
No, I won't screw up the intake valve.
You sure?
Pump.
Well, the pump running for that long might screw up the pump. Yeah.
Just bob around up here. As long as we don't get any closer to the shore.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Could be worse. Boat could be sinking.
Yeah.
We're not sinking.
Yeah.
Keep us moving somewhere, you say?
Yeah. I'm good to just be moving. As long as we're moving.
Yeah.
Moving.
This is our water state, so...
Moving not towards rocks.
Yeah.
Or coral heads.
Yeah. I think I do see maybe a power cat coming our direction, or a power something that way.
Yep.
We've got some beautiful water.
Yeah, you want to go swimming?
It's crossed my mind a few times.
Hey, get 4.5 knots of wind.
Yeah, wind. Got a blow coming. That's part of the thing, but I think we've got a little bit of time. We just need to get there in the next 24 hours. 48 probably. But the predictions are always changing, so who really knows? But huge thank you to Alan from New Zealand. He's on Oropai.
What did they say it means?
I don't remember what it means. And then also huge thank you to DJ and Katie, who've been tried to FaceTime with them a bit. We don't have great service, so it wasn't awesome. Text back and forth, just trying to troubleshoot all that. And then also a huge thank you to Corey and Alicia. they're on slow motion. Every time I say slow motion in my head, I sing that song from Hairspray.
I don't know that song.
Motion to the ocean and you know what I'm talking about? Oh, okay.
I've never seen Hairspray.
Anyway, that goes through my head every time I hear their boat name.
Hairspray's a musical?
We were here at this acreage with them. They're probably about to Georgetown.
They're probably there. No, it wasn't
No.
gonna be like
It was like 3 something they were supposed to get there, I think.
almost 4.
It's almost 4 now?
Yeah.
So they might be there, I don't know. But yeah, huge thank you to them who have been trying to, like, offered to find a towboat to come get us and have offered to meet us, like, with their tender when we get closer to pull us in. Gave us a mechanic, have been talking to their mechanic friends. Like, I mean, just, yeah, trying to help us out. So, thank you to all those people. I haven't forgotten anybody, right? Who's been trying to help us? I don't think so. But yeah, another huge thank you to Alan for coming over and working, and his wife for lending him out. So, the boat that we just hailed, that they were we were on like a perpendicular course, and we hailed them. We're like, hey, just a heads up, we are having some engine trouble, so that's why we're kind of floating right here. And they're like, oh, no problem, we'll give you plenty of space. And then they hailed again, and we're like, we wish we could help, not sure what the problem is, maybe let us know. So yeah, that's kind too. They have no idea who we are or anything like that, so.
Let us head up too much.
So that's the sound of a luffing sail.
So now our sails are not. And for whatever reason, AutoHelm quit on me for a second.
Yeah. It may be because we're going too slow, so it thinks we're not moving. And so it just shut off.
This little line of storms is headed right for us. We have no idea whether it's bringing any wind or if it's just rain, but we went ahead and went to our first reef on the mainsail, and we've heavily reefed our Genoa. There's barely any Genoa out right now. I think we figured out that at lower RPMs we still get adequate water flow to not overheat, so we're running at really low RPMs. And I think the reason for that is whenever you're at higher RPMs, because our gasket has failed, which is why there's water leaking into our engine compartment, I think at the higher RPMs it's pulling air instead of water. It's pulling air through that gap where that gasket's letting water leak. So I think at the higher RPMs it's just sucking air instead of water.
Less water.
Yeah, it's getting even less water. Because it sounds weird at higher RPMs. It actually sounds normal at this low RPM, and we're getting adequate water flow. So yeah, got our sails reefed, got the engine on, and Carlie's coiling one of the lines. She just went through and closed up all the ports and hatches. And I'm gonna put this camera back down below, because
Swap it for the,
we are about to get soaked.
yeah, swap it for the action. The
Gonna take the camera below.
cloud behind us.
Cloud, oh yeah. I mean, it looks great on film.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah, look at there.
A little bit frightening.
Got some rain headed our way. Oh, that guy over there looks great. This one over here.
What about directly behind the thingy?
Oh no, but look at this one. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it does look cool.
Yeah, we're about to get,
All those boats over at Rudder Cut are getting a nice death rinse.
they're getting a nice rinse. Yeah, we're about to get soaked. But it doesn't look like there's it looks like it's a front, and hopefully not sustained rain and wind. Hopefully. All right, camera below. Got to get prepped for this. Just a quick update. The front is here. We are traveling at 5.5 knots, and our apparent wind is 15 knots. We're on a broad reach. We've finished pulling in the rest of our Genoa. We don't have any out, and we're at first reef on our mainsail, and we've got our staysail out as well. And the wind feels nice and cool. Feels good.
Just waiting for the night to hit.
Yep. I need to turn slightly because we're trying not to jive.
No driving.
We may want to tighten up on the sheet, main sheet,
I'm on it.
just to limit how much jive we do if we do jive.
Let's shoot for not jiving, but I will tighten it. That storm has passed. It's now setting. The sun is setting, which I'll definitely want to show you. I think it's pretty. And just had some dinner. Brady grabbed our harnesses, which I'm about to put mine on. He's already got his on. Yeah. Did you just disassemble it?
Yeah.
So, let's look at this sky really quick. It's really pretty. Oh. There's a little sliver of moon. And then some pretty
I wonder who this number is.
cloud. What is it, 833?
828.
Really pretty. Wind's basically dead, right? We're getting what, like 7 knots of wind? 6 knots of wind.
6 knots of wind.
And it's kind of a beam broad situation, which means we're, well, like, yeah, a deep beam or a shallow broad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not moving very fast.
3.5 knots.
3.5 knots. Right now it feels like we're sitting still, but we are apparently moving at 3.5 knots.
Well, now 2 knots. I guess that was a wave.
A wave. Got a little boost from a wave. Okay, 2 knots. So, we're about to be in tonight. Just trudging along. Our friends on Slow Motion, Corey and Alicia, they are at the anchorage, and they said no matter the time, they will meet us at the cut with their dinghy, and between our dinghy on one side and their dinghy on the other side, steer us in, even if it's 3 a.m., steer us in to the anchorage so we can anchor. And yeah, that's what's happening.
The wind's supposed to be shifting.
Yeah, wind's supposed to be shifting. I don't think we've seen too much of that.
No.
But predict wind is a prediction, not a premonition or a, it's not, you know,
Guaranteed.
it's not guaranteed. Man, the sky is really pretty. It's like a deep coral color and
Nice.
dark gray. Very pretty. The camera never picks it up to do it justice, except for that one the other night. The camera did a pretty dang good job the other
Well,
night.
is the ND filter on?
I think so.
That might be why.
No, the indie filter was on the other day, and that was what made it so nice.
Got it. Okay.
It's just not right now. We're all dying to get an update. Mr. Brady.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. We are cruising at a speed of 1.7 knots. In
You better believe it.
4 knots of wind.
Yep.
Oh, 2.1.
Mmm.
And our arrival time is bouncing between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m.
Mmm.
Which is somewhere between 8 to 14 hours.
10 a.m. That's the latest we've seen yet.
Yep. So,
We've got some city lights over there.
yeah, we've been seeing those for the last 4 hours.
Oh, yeah.
No, it hasn't been dark that long.
Mm-mm.
Oh, Just saw 5 knots of wind. Let's see if we can get this puppy rolling.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We officially have no water.
Coming out
Coming
of the
out of our
engine.
engine.
We have water to drink.
Yeah. We have we've been talking about water through the engine.
Yeah. Sorry. I just was like, what? We're out of water?
We officially have no water flowing through our engine.
Yeah,
when
no.
we turn it on.
It has crapped out on us.
It died completely.
Yep,
We knew it was going to happen.
we did. Those are stars.
Yeah, we got stars.
Yeah, we do. You can faintly see them. That's a
Let's
Brady.
get this boat cruising.
And we've got some little red lights in here.
Mama Val.
Okay. Cool beans. I'll check it.
It's for your mom. I want to respond with, sorry, that's for Brady. She said thanks for the new swimsuit.
Oh. Do you want me to respond with, sorry, that's for Brady?
Yeah.
Let's see. That's funny.
Anyway, what was I going to say?
We are flying, guys. We are winning all sorts of races right now.
2.5 knots
Mm-hmm.
and 4.5 knots of wind.
Mm-hmm. The sails flapping is not at all annoying.
No.
We
But-
actually love the sound.
I gotta say, if I can get this boat moving 2.5 knots and
5
4.5
knots.
knots of wind,
I mean, that's pretty good.
I'm
Because
pretty
she's a
happy with
beast.
that.
She's a tank.
I have been saying that I think it might be entirely current
Yeah.
pushing us.
Yeah. Which
and
is
all
gonna
we're seeing
be
is apparent wind.
right. Which is gonna be really good at like 1 a.m. when the tide shifts,
Yep.
and then we're gonna
It actually shifts at like 9:40.
9:40.
Yeah.
So here in an hour. Yep. So good.
Okay.
That was a good one.
That's a wave. Every once in a while we'll get some good waves.
Yep. Oh, well, here we go. You need to pee?
Yeah.
Always. It is 3:26 a.m. and I've just crawled into bed. Brady's about to.
And you're on my side.
My knee is on Brady's side of the bed. But we've made it
To Georgetown.
to Georgetown. We're here. Oh man. It has been a very long day.
Yep.
A very, very long day. And we are beat. In the end, we got the engine running with the SureFlow pump. Brady ended up, like, the wind died. It was blowing like 1 knot. And we were just riding the current and the waves, and that was it. So, Brady decided to go ahead and rehook up the SureFlow to go for attempt 2 on that. SureFlow spare freshwater pump as the seawater pump for the engine. This time he hooked the intake into the pump and then grabbed our bucket and only opened the seacock a little bit and then tested it. Had me come look to see if I thought the water looked like it was too strong for the engine and that sort of thing. And so then shut that off, hooked up the engine, got the engine started first, and then turned on the water pump. Had water coming out the back in the kind of like spurt, like it's flowing, but then there's like spurts of bigger, and that's what we had going on. So we just monitored the water flow the whole way. At that point, we were 2 nautical miles from the like start of the cut, and 6
From the anchorage.
Yeah, 6 from where the anchorage. So was it an hour or is it more than an hour?
Like 2 hours.
That whole The whole thing was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was 2 hours. So we just, checked frequently and made our way here in the dark, which was definitely interesting. But it was alright.
Yeah.
We're here. We're so exhausted. But we made it. And
It's so hot.
it's hot. And the engine has been on and running and just like open to the boat because we needed to be able to view it and access it and all of that. And so the boat smells like diesel and it's really hot because the engine compartment is open and has been open. So yeah, but we made it. And our friends are fantastic. Corey almost came out to meet us in the ocean when we were like, yeah, wind's died. We're literally not moving. And he was preparing to come meet us out there. But Brady got the SureFlow hooked up and we got it working. So we're like, hold off, we're good. And he's like, all right, I'll be awake until you guys are anchored now, and just like let me know if you need anything or anything like that. And so I ended up asking about a section of the anchorage, how that would be for anchoring, and he's like, I'll hop in the dinghy now and I'll go scope out and find you guys somewhere to anchor. Like, that's fantastic, actually. That's awesome, yeah. And so he scoped us out a spot. He turned their spreader lights on so we could see their boat amongst the others in the anchorage. And he came out, when we got close enough, he came out with his tender, found us, and then kind of like led us in and talked to us. He was like, you go past this boat and go in. And then, used his light to lead us up in and for dropping. And it was really, really helpful. It was very nice to not have to figure that out after today. Brady bruised his head.
Yeah.
We'll show you tomorrow. He headbutted the spreader.
No, shroud.
Shroud, sorry, not the spreader. You can't headbutt the spread unless you are way up the mast. He headbutted the shroud. So, here we are. We are in Georgetown. And now we're going to bed. Right, love?
Yeah. Deal with all the problems tomorrow.
Yeah, we cleared the bed. And that was the best we got.
Yep.
And that's okay. Good night,
Good news is it's only 3.5 hours until daylight. So if we're gonna drag, then it will probably be during the daylight.
That's true. It's true. It's pretty much daylight now. It's like, 3:32. All right.
All right. Yeah. Good night.
Good night.